good evening and welcome back to Rangers Radio. Turn myself Oxford on the show. It's GB and Port. Thoughts, lads?
Aye, very good, mate. Good to come back. I thought the young boys done decent. I think the guys in the periphery of the squad didn't take their chance, in my opinion. But overall, mate, we got a 3-1 victory. We go to the next round. That's as much as I can take for the moment.
GB?
I just kind of echo Porter a bit. Happy with the result. You predicted 3 goals, Ox, so I was happy with that. Some kind of standout performances and some un-standout performances overall. Second half was I had all my notes written down for the first half, but the second half I could hardly write down anything, Ox, to be fair, mate.
We started okay. We started a good tempo. We got a good goal on the boy Yuri. Good finish, Port.
Aye, 8 minutes gone, mate. His debut, a mistake for Queen of the South, and a great cutback for fashion, mate. And I think it's an actual pass for Kamara, if I'm totally honest, a touch for Kamara to let the Yuri's pass first time finish, and he puts it away nicely, mate. Aye, a very well worked goal.
And then Macron GB.
It was another perfect fashion Sakala pass on a Conley, and Conley popped it away as well. So it was the game of fashion Sakala. Good
finish.
Aye, that made the boys' night. Chipping McGregor, I suppose, took it well, but again, very, very slack with us, and that kind of was a bit of the momentum then, wasn't it? It was just untidiness, Ox, is that the right word, for a lot of the players, especially Robbie and that, just flashing at shots and just not making the right pass at times, because Scotty Arfield had a good couple of chances the first half as well to probably bury the game for us. But just untidiness, and obviously we see the half out, mate, and going into the second half hoping for like the same as the first, is a quick start, but we just didn't really get started in the second half.
Well, we got the equalised Port, but then the best bit of skill of the night, Ridvan.
Aye, well, mate, see that's worth your entry fee, that touch alone, mate, in my opinion. You know what, to take it, the ball's getting played behind him, takes it on his instep. Absolutely wonderful, mate. For me, tonight, he showed pace, he showed ability on the ball, technique. He also showed, he didn't get beat many tackles. So, seemed to have a wee bit of a leap as well, seen him win a couple of headers. But all in all, mate, I think Ridvan was probably, a decent, debut. I know he played against Kilmarnock, but for a full game, I think it was overall decent, mate. Very, very decent. A lot to be happy about.
Okay, aye, he touched it in. Nice pullback from Scotty Arfield. A nice finish, 2-1 at half time.
I guess his first assist for the club, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then we move on to half time. And no changes, we start again. And the tempo seemed to fall out the game, GP.
For some reason, Qots decided to get into the game. We allowed them into the game, just creating havoc for ourselves. King, the first half was steady Eddie, but the second half again, just not reading the game very well. And then as we make the changes around about the 75-minute mark, and I think that helped us get a bit of energy back in the team. McCann definitely made an impact, I think, for myself. And Lovelace was up front, huffed and puffed a wee bit, but the second half wasn't really a great watch, Ox, for me, to be honest, mate.
No, I think the two wide players disappeared, Porter.
Aye, disappeared right out of the game, mate, if I'm totally honest. But when you looked at the bench, there was not much to bring on, and they obviously want to go in. Obviously, they want to risk Borna or any of the one just maybe going to start on Saturday. So I just think we brought on Lovelace. I think you touched on the socks here. A lot of people on the phone in asking, for this player to be given an opportunity. I think he showed his inexperience. He looks like a unit of a boy already at 16. I'm not going to take that away from him, but looks to me like he's a wee bit away for the first team. McCann came on for Matondo. I think Matondo, again, mate, didn't take his chance against low league opposition. I thought he was wasteful with the ball. I thought, his pace and directness again.
Question for you, Port, yeah?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the same to GB, mate. Did you see him beat a man all night?
I'm just about to cut me up, mate. I was about to say with his directness and his pace, I didn't see him take on a person all night. He didn't commit any of their defenders at all, which I was disappointed with. And Sir Carl on the left was the exact same, mate. He didn't commit anybody for me.
GB.
Some of the Matondo, and like I says, it's not a get on the boys' back, but some of the shots film and crossing film tonight was absolutely diabolical. I mean, he is a young player, but the boy's got talent, and you got to do better. I mean, you're playing against a lower team. He's got time. He's got a lot of time on the ball tonight as well, and he's just firing balls right at the goal line and not finding a man, losing the ball, stuff like that. Just really, really untidy for him, and yet flashes as well. Like McGregor had a throw out to him, and his pace was away. And he just couldn't find the pass sometimes, or he was thinking about it too much, especially with the link up with Scotty Arfield and stuff like that. Just sometimes just had to play the ball earlier. I don't know what it is. It's pre-season. That boy looked to me as if he was going to come into that first team and hold down a place. But the now he looks a long way away from it, mate.
He's young, but the problem he's got, Port, is he's got a price tag, so there's pressure.
Has money been paid, mate? And he needs to do a lot better than that. As Gary touched on, we thought that right-hand side was fine going to be nailed down by somebody of the same sort of maybe quality, to develop as Kent. And right now, mate, it doesn't look like that. And you can see that in Gio's picks when he's picked Tillman and Lawrence over Matondo, mate. And I think that's what it is. It's trust. And it's all about composure, Oxshire. If you can't compose yourself against championship opponents, and be better quality on the ball, etc., and just take your chances. I want to be positive, actually. I really want to be positive with what's coming up at the weekend, but must try harder. That's what's got in the report card tonight, mate. Must try harder. It's got to be better. That composure's got to be better. The quality's got to be better.
Right. Get these phone lines open, then we'll hear what people have got to say, and we'll take it from there if that's all right with you two old chaps.
Superb, mate. Yeah. Get it open.
Yep. Let's hear from me.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, I think he's be right on Matondo, but I don't think he was the only one that strengthened up. I think there was a lack of movement for everybody. Jack, Leon King, it looked as if sometimes he'd no options bar Stephen Davis. So as soon as they snuffed Stephen Davis, I was ready to pass the boy.
Stephen Davis was certainly orchestrator, mate. Certainly orchestrator through that game, and as soon as they worked out that everything was going through him, didn't they? As soon as it's worked out, they stopped him playing, and then they do showing for the ball. And a wee bright note for me, tonight, mate, was Devine at right back. I thought he looked pretty steady the whole game.
Actually, he grew into the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah. A good deputy for the captain. I think that wee boy's going to go pretty far in the game, mate. And on King, you touched on him as well, sorry, mate. I think King, again, was a steady Eddie, showed a bit of pace, which I was surprised about. I didn't know he had pace. Few mistakes that he made that he recovered himself and showed, quick recovery along the ground. So that boy's definitely got a future in the game, mate, definitely.
I think he'll learn, GB, for a couple of years, hasn't he? That you just don't, it's the big boy stuff and you've got to concentrate the whole time.
Aye, Ox, 100%. You can see that the skills there, especially for that goal with Scotty Arfield. That wee back heel was absolutely beautiful. He's definitely...
Leon King?
No, Leon King, sorry, McCann.
Leon King, we're talking about here, mate. You turning into Bridge?
No, it was Port mentioned McCann before we finished up there, sorry.
Talking about Leon King.
King himself, he's got a lot to learn. Last his first half, I thought he breezed it. Second half, I think he had more of a game at it. But that's the pluses he take out tonight. I think a lot of people shout for the youth, Ox, and I think you've said it many a time. You've got to give them time. You've got to bed them in at the right time and stuff like that. And I think the night kind of proved that point tenfold, because there was a lot of youth on that side tonight, and at times they did struggle against, like I say, a lower opposition.
The boy McCann will come to know if that's all right with you, GB. Lovely touch the goal, and I thought his cameo was excellent.
Aye, it was great, mate. That says that when he came on, that says around about the 75-minute mark, he did give us that bit of energy. I felt Matondo at that point in time was out the game. So getting McCann on and getting a nice wee link up with Arfield in the midfield and stuff like that was really good. And again, it shows a promising future for him. It's just it's just getting the minutes and getting the balance. It was a flung together team tonight, Ox, and I think, to be honest, most of them done well to kind of to get through the game.
Okay, we'll be joined by Warren. Evening, Warren.
Evening, Ox. How we going?
Hi, mate. What was your thoughts, mate?
Well, Ox, I thought that was like. I've seen games in the early 80s, League Cup ties, on a Tuesday night, Queen of the South, and it was a game like that. That's the way it felt to me. And I'm a wee bit disappointed. I know we'd put out a weekend team, trying out a couple of things, and I wasn't too impressed tonight, but we got the result. That's all that matters. We're in the next round, but, digging deep, I thought, I would have expected better, to be honest.
Was the fact because they never continued playing at the tempo they did in the first half, or and it just petered out?
Aye, yeah, and I was looking for some good things from one or two, looking for a couple of performances. I thought that there was a second goal, the flick from the wee left back, the Turkish boy, that was absolutely amazing. Aye, left back, that was amazing. I'm willing that boy to do well, but crikey, Rangers have paid £5 million for that boy. What is it they see in him?
What have you done with that flick? That's what they've seen.
Aye, I know, I know. I'd like to see a wee bit more, but. It was good. Young boys come on. It was great, and but I was just, to be honest, a wee bit disappointed. And I think that the disappointment's coming from the dark side of running about, hammering teams, and we're with Queen of the South, we should have put a few past them tonight.
I agree with you. I get some of your context, and I think we've got to be careful we don't get carried away. Remember, they beat a team at the weekend here who had already been beat by 7 this season. So let's put it in the context. But that team that was out tonight, we Alan McGregor and Stephen Davis-Port, still on average 21 years of age, approximately.
Aye, incredible night for young players, mate. And then, as I say, some of the fringe players are not quite up to speed yet. And to throw a team. A disjointed team, actually, if we're totally honest. I don't know. I didn't expect to see the same continuity and fluid passing, and it was everything that I thought. It was just disjointed at times, and players are sort of struggling to understand, what Gio's looking for, because they've not played the same level of games as the other team members. So, it was just a disjointed cup game for me, mate. 3-1 with the team. I think it's a fair score. I thought Queen of South made it what it was. And like I said, pre-show, these guys are honest pros, mate, and they'll get 110%. They'd have been right up for the upset tonight, and probably the equaliser. Their tails were up for that wee spell, and that was their cup final tonight, and that's where we must treat games. in regards to how they're putting goals past teams, they don't concern me at all, mate. They've not played anybody yet. Everybody they've played, they would, most of possession. They've not to do much defending. They've not any team that dominates space and, the way we do. So that game will take care of itself, mate.
Oh, I would definitely agree. I mean, what I've said is they've played, 3 of the bottom 4 away from home. All right, exactly. The goals are flying in. We've went through some psychological hard games. Union, we were 2-0 down. We come back, beat them 3-0. Eindhoven, that was a massive head-to-head. We've come through that. The first team are strong mentally and playing football. That mob, they're spawning about beating every day, 9-0, 7-0, or whatever the hell it is. But they'll get a wee bit of a shock, I think, on Saturday when they come against a proper football team. And I do not feel them on Saturday, not at all.
There you go, but you've answered your own question. I'll put it to you. If they played anybody the level of PSV?
Crikey. I think the game's been come away from home. I mean, they couldn't beat Blackburn Rovers and they couldn't beat Blackburn at home, I know the goals are flying in, their tails are up. They're going to, what is it? They'll have the League One by September. They're going to beat Real Madrid. Well, that's fine. The Rangers first team, but I was just a wee bit disappointed tonight, with the young guys, the potential guys that could come into the team. I thought they could make a bit of a showing, and for me, they didn't do it. That's why I'm just a wee bit disappointed tonight with that.
The boy Yuri will get past marks because he scored a goal, GB, yeah?
Aye, well, Oxen, he started really well in the game. I was quite excited. I thought he was going to get a couple in the game tonight, but he did kind of fall out the game like many of the players did in the second half. I was very surprised, to be honest, mate. He got the man of the match. I felt Scotty Arfield was the kind of man that should have got that tonight, but maybe it's a sponsor's pick, I suppose. But no, I mean, I think it's a big learning curve for him tonight, how to stay in the game, maybe the movement as well. I think a lot of the players sometimes were on a different kind of wavelength for each other tonight, which doesn't help when you've made so many changes, Ox. So, we got the result, we move on.
He's made changes, Port, but he's brought real youth into the team. Things we've talked about, things that people have asked for. Ultimately, all right, some of them disappointed. Some of the senior pros, Fashion, maybe said didn't do himself any favours. Matondo, who's got to be classed as a senior pro Port because he's there with the first team. Only young, but still a senior pro, was they fantastic. So, but in saying that, some of the boys done themselves no harm for gaining experience. That is just slightly different when you're playing against the big boys.
Aye, 100%.
The old pros, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's Gio's learned tonight. The coaching staff's learned a lot tonight. The senior pros that you're touching on, they'll have learned what the guys, where they're at, the youth players that have come in the night again. It's a learning curve for everybody, Oxford. And as fans, we get to see what we've really got against seasoned pros like Cooney South. These guys just fight for their lives every week. So then when they play games like I say, that's their cup final. So I just think we got to see where our young boys are at now, and I think it was clear to see there's still a good bit away for joining up with the first team on a regular basis. I gave pass marks to Devine, King, Ridvan, who's I would class him as a senior player as well, rated off at £6 million. And I thought McCann and his cameo, like you touched on, I've got high hopes for this boy. I think he reminds me of Stephen Davis, Oxford. He does. That's what he reminds me of. And that wee back heel for Arfield was absolute quality. So I think he done pretty well as well. But they're the ones I give pass marks to, right? And they're probably slightly ahead of others.
Fair comment, mate. I wouldn't ask you that. Warren?
Ox, can I just maybe change the subject for a wee second? And think it's here at this transfer window.
Quantum physics?
Aye. Now, had we lost that game last Wednesday night, if we never send them, that would be fine. Now, we're into Champions League. We'll potentially get a good few quid here now. there's only a couple of days left in the transfer window. I'd be disappointed if Rangers don't actually add to the squad. What do you think?
Well, it's a whole debate for the next couple of days. I think before we add to the squad, mate, I think we would have to get rid of guys that are not going to contribute. It doesn't seem to fancy fashion, even though we got a game of night, Port Bear. I think there would need to be people go.
I think I can see that happening. I get what you're meaning, Warren, but I like that showed tonight. Definitely 100% showed tonight. Without Morelos fit and without Roof anywhere near fitness either, it just leaves Cholak and Yuri, did it? Now, Yuri looked a blue star was on the earlier in the show. He was asking if he was small, big, whatever. He's a big unit for a boy his age, 18 years of age. But
yes.
I think he showed tonight, Oxford, he's not ready yet, is he, for first
touch,
team?
Mate. It was a touch.
Aye, first touch was... Yeah.
You know, but look, we might do some business. What position would be on your mind, Warren?
I would say, I think it's been mentioned before, see if there was an injury to Kolak. Just say he played the night and he gets straight up half. We get into Blackhead on Saturday, you know, without a striker. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe a backup striker. And the other thing that bothers me is the two central defenders. I would like to see a commanding central defender in there, but it's more a striker. But I'm just thinking, you know, the Rangers, had we not got to the Champions League, that's fine. We know there's no money to spend. But now, all of a sudden, we've got cash there, and there's only 2 days left. But I think, did Gio no say in a press conference maybe last week something about there'd be late business in this transfer window?
He intimated it could be exciting, but we'll see where that takes us. But look, my sources are telling me there was a meeting with Morelos today. Things have gone well, and he's back training. He's been training hard all in the last 10 days. And the manager's saying there's been a change in his attitude. So maybe it's been a great piece of management with Giovanni. GB.
Could be the right time, Ox, especially running into the weekend's game. No saying that he'll get a start like that, but I think having him in the squad for the weekend, getting a guy that's like Morelos, fired up and hungry, would probably be the right way to manage a guy like that, to be honest, because if he knows that he's no go anywhere to go and he's been told that it could be the end of the road, and he's seen other players thrive under him and playing in Champions League, then it's only going to spark something in you. You're either got to crumble or mature for it, and I think hopefully Morelos will be that second striker for us.
And well, it depends where he goes, but Port, this is the trouble. If Alfie's there, Kolak's there, the Roof's still there. You know, if Sakala doesn't move, all of a sudden, it's difficult. The board was saying, well, you've got 4 guys signed the centre forwards there. How do you bring another one in? Same with centre backs. We'll get injuries, but we'll still get Davis, Suter, Hollander. Obviously, King's come into the fold now. And then with Golson, how many centre backs do you need unless you bring one in to be particularly number one? But Golson and Davis, I think, Davis will be your number one, you know, so it's difficult.
It's difficult in a sense. If you're going to go look at somebody, you got to go, you know, and what's your plans, you know, and these players are not about to go and come to Rangers and be 5th choice striker, 4th choice striker, or, you know, 3rd or 4th choice centre back. I think that's a big problem with it whenever it's going to be trying to coax somebody to come and play second fiddle, third fiddle, if you like. But that's how I think it all depends on who goes out. I do think there'll be business done in the next 48 hours, Oxford. I don't think Rangers will sit in their hands and not try and improve for the Champions League. But I just don't know. I don't know who they're going to go to, Oxford, to come in and play, you know, backup to a backup, if that's the best way to put it, I suppose. I know there's been all sorts of talk about, you know, Ross Barkley and stuff, mate, and I see it getting muted because he was released by Chelsea, and I see a lot of mixed feelings with, you know, Rangers fans. They're thinking, oh no, the next Aaron Ramsey, you know, with fitness problems, etc., and injury prone. Me personally, I'd rather leave it alone. I don't want to go down that road again. I'd rather go and find a good young player, mate, and pay decent money for him and bring somebody like that in. But I do think Rangers will do business the next 40 years, mate. I'm sure of it.
I think there'll be business done, Warren. I definitely do. How much would you spend, Warren?
I was going to say to you, Ox, here's a curveball, right? Now, I reckon Rangers have got a few quid, and I reckon we'll get a couple of days left the transfer window, and I think business can be done now. When was the last time we made a bit of a signing 2 days before an Old Firm game and he was thrown in? Can you remember that?
De Boer.
Who?
2 days with his debut.
When I say two, I mean a couple of days, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe, and then thrown in a big Old Firm game.
Juff.
Was De Boer?
El has Juff.
Was he?
Loads, Warren. Come on, hurry up. Put your mystery. Yeah.
I not that one. Listen, no. I'm just thinking, when was it? We've done it before. We have done it in the past.
I know, but you could sign players.
I mean, and wasn't a great signing. I mean, did Gordon Smith no signing before a League Cup final? I know it didn't make an impact.
We brought him back on loan, yeah.
What's that?
We brought him back on loan for the 19.
Oh, was it on loan? Aye.
1982 League Cup final.
Aye, he come in a cup final. I think they could be it. But
Jim Beck scored a good goal. We could beat 2-1.
Aye.
That's not a good example, Warren. What about with Nigel Spackman? There'll be a better man who scored in his debut against him.
I would just think, for an impact, I would just think an impact. Couple of days to go, Old Firm game on the horizon. Somebody comes in and they're in the jersey, they're in the first team. It could happen, Mox. It could happen. Hopefully, a bit of a name.
I just can't see that. Football's changed, Porter. Players sign for clubs, and it's very seldom they go right in the following weekend, isn't it?
It's very, very rare now, unless somebody with undoubted experience. One I can remember last year ended up a decent signing for us was De Boer. When they brought him in, I thought he was past it, and he had a great career. His career, a great Rangers career in my opinion. I thought De Boer was excellent for Rangers, but very rarely do these signings work out either last year. You only need to look at Aaron Ramsey. That's a great example of somebody we tried to get into that we thought was going to take us to the next level. But we're all big marquee signing, and me in particular, I was very happy with it. I thought he can make a difference in Scotland, but it never worked out. I just think Rangers think more long term now next year. I don't think we look for a short term fix anywhere. I really don't.
Good point, mate. Warren, on the spot, I know you've got a few quid, so how much would you spend?
I just think the opportunities here, we're in the Champions League now, we've got the money.
How much would you spend?
Well, how much?
Aye.
Well, crikey, I don't pull the purse strings at Ibrox, I don't know the ins and outs, but I actually think what will happen is it Thursday when the transfer window closes, and I thought Gio said in the last week or so, something will happen, there will be business, whether it's in or out. And I think Rangers might not be the biggest name ever, but I think we're going to do something, It's went quiet, and this is the way Rangers tend to do it in recent years. It goes quiet, and then all hell breaks loose in the last day of the window, and I think somebody will come in.
Okay, mate, we'll see. I think there could be people brought in, but I think if you're looking for a big name, I don't know if that'll be big story tonight on that part. Port Verde boy, Paul Niso. That South London Academy was playing. Let me get this right. I think Lambert's in South London. But he was playing there in London. Street football, really, Port. Yeah. And the next thing, there he's making his debut tonight.
It's an area but Rangers have certainly tapped into, mate. Before he went to Charlton, that's where Joe Rebo was. And the boy Eze as well plays with Crystal Palace. He was both of them. They all go there, play that street football in South London, mate. It's a big thing. And I think you mentioned it loads of times in regards to Joe Rebo. You always said he was a street player because he's touching. You only look at his You only need to look at his early career in Southampton. You know what I mean? And he's got after a flyer. I just think that's the way that boy needs to be as well, mate.
Yeah, he showed wee glimpses in the time he was on GB.
Aye, yep. And the boy Stevens, I felt he looked alright as well.
Yeah.
He had a couple of nice touches, and really surprised because I hadn't heard much from him. But the wee touch that he had there for Lovelace, it was really good. So, there's promise there, Rox, and there's gems to be found. And I think, like you're saying, the market that we shop in is we've got to be savvy about it. We can't waste money because it's not very often that Champions League football keeps coming round at the club. I mean, it depends how the coefficient goes, and it seems to be only us that odds that up. So, I mean, we don't know when Champions League might come back round. So we've got to be smart with the money that we've gained already. Personally, I think we do need to strengthen, but it's
where and how many.
The worry for me, Ox, is that everything we've been linked to is midfielders, and I just feel as though we've got plenty of that. We've got plenty of defenders, as you've said, and then if all the strikers come back fit, we're overloaded there as well. It's all. I think you're right. Then it's all down to who goes out, and then that's where you can bring players back in.
All right, we'll see. But let's go back to the night. What did you think of Ryan Jack playing in that position, Port?
I think I know from experience. I think the older you get and as you start to slow down, it's a natural progression. If you like, as you get older, you go back. I thought he was a good outball.
You ended up playing behind the goal.
Water boy, I think you call it. I just think, I mean, good footballers, mate, can slot in anywhere. And if you play the way Ryan Jack plays in the middle of the park, when he does sit almost like a sweeper in the middle of the park, he can go back there, mate, because he's clever on the boys. He's good, he's good in possession. He's got good range of passing. So, he did make it look easier back here, right? If I'm brutally honest, mate, he didn't really put a foot wrong, Ryan Jack, right? So I think it's if he's ever needed, mate, we should have get for injuries and centre back. But if he's ever needed, we know he's all right back there.
Oren?
I thought Ryan Jack looked great tonight, but that's the problem. Against Queen of the South, he's having a great game. Recently, I mean, he's a great player. Recently, against Hibs, he, for some reason, not up to speed, not giving us how would you say, the forward. See the killer pass into the box, it's too much of the sideway ball, which I don't like, and there's too many in that Rangers team that actually do that.
If I'm being honest, GB, I think that was the fittest he's looked. I know it was only Queen of the South, so let's not get too carried away, but I think it's not done him any harm, the brick for the Easter Road, and then a bit more training, and then that 90 minutes, I think he'll be better for it.
Aye. The only way Ryan Jack's got to get fitter and probably a wee bit more timber off is getting the minutes, Socks. It's been hard for him not to get the time now because it's been such a hectic and important schedule. So the night was probably the perfect game, and I think that's why the manager done what he done with putting him in at centre back, knowing that Ryan Jack, with the experience he's got, was able to manage that game tonight, especially with the pace of King beside him, and like I says, Devine and Ridvan. The boys would have been able to cover from him if there was anything untoward going on. Plus McGregor there as well. So it was a perfect game for Ryan Jack tonight.
Aye, okay. Right, come on in. Give us your thoughts. Join us. Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yes, I think, look, congratulations to the young boys, Warren. I mean, if you take the guys with the experienced pros, we know who Jack was, Alan McGregor, Stephen Davis.
I thought it was great to see the young guys in the team tonight. it was, and I seen the lineup, thought brilliant, and we're all dying to see the boy Lovelace. We're all dying to see him, and it's just the way the game was going. It wasn't suiting him, well, he didn't have much time. I thought the boy King, he looks the part. He does. I know it's only playing in the south, and I've seen him, a couple of times. I quite like Leon King. Millions, aye, it's good, but something wasn't ticking for me tonight, with that Rangers team,
GD, could we say that was my first team where all the boys played really, for being honest?
No, it is a put together team, isn't it? It's probably the most passes that these guys have had with the likes of Scotty Arfield or Davis, and that's basically been in training. And even if you look at, like, say, Lovrens and McCann, they've been mostly playing in the B team section, so they've not really been probably around the first team a lot. I would imagine the build up to this game, they've probably had more minutes together, but the understandings there, knowing what each player does, wasn't there the night. But that's just purely because they're not with each other week in, week out. So for me, they've done well with the situation they were in, and I think they're going to take more learnings away from that tonight than anything bad. To be honest, it's probably done a lot of them the world of good, knowing how much more they're going to have to work hard to get near the first team week in, week out.
I think there's one guy in that park that will start on Saturday, Port Bear.
Steve Davis?
Nope.
Or Glenn Kamara?
Mm-hmm.
Aye. Again, what we always touch on, mate, it's legs, isn't it? It's legs. He's proven he came in against PSV. He was given a job and a task, and Glenn Kamara does what Glenn Kamara does. He was caught tonight again a couple of times on the ball. But I think it's just an observation, mate. I think Glenn Kamara's concentration dips up and down with whoever playing next year. And I know that shouldn't happen, but it does. It does. He gets very lax when he seems to be not in the mood, and the team he's playing against doesn't give him that wee urge to rise. But when he plays in the big games, he just seems to come into himself.
Well said, Port.
We lost one. I thought Glenn Kamara was playing more forward tonight than he was against PSV last week. I think he might go back in beside John.
Sorry, Ox. Yeah, I mean, I think, Kamara, when he's good, he's absolutely fantastic. He's one of the best players in the world. This is the problem I've got with him. He's brilliant, but when he's no good, he's posted missing. Kamara, obviously, tonight, he's great with the young fellas and that, and you can put him in, Parkhead, whatever, you can always stick him in. He's a great cog in the wheel. Great. The main thing is to get him playing well. That's when he's playing well, he's absolutely brilliant.
We'll see. I'll rephrase that, TGB. I wouldn't be surprised if he was playing. I'm not saying he's a certainty stuff.
He definitely got more minutes under his legs, and obviously when he was substituted, you would think that's the manager protecting him, Ox, for the weekend ahead. Glenn proved in the PSV game that he's definitely got a place in our squad. I mean, he managed the PSV game no problem, especially the second leg. So I'm quite happy he's getting the minutes tonight, Ox, because if he plays the way he's played, and especially in the PSV game on Saturday, then we're going to be able to control that kind of engine room for us, and he'll help us push forward.
Good comments. All right, put you on the spot. You had to pick the pick of the young boys, right? And I'll put Midvan in with that. I know he came for $6 million, but Matondo's in there as well, so I think it's on the right court to put Ridvan in. So who was your pick, Warren? And the young boys, apart from myself, of course.
It's a cup game. Get through.
I thought the boy Divine never let us down the right back.
Fair comment. GB?
I would go with Ridvan, to be honest, Ox. I felt the technical side of him tonight was first class. It was kind of eyebrow raising, especially the way he pushed forward. He had a shot and goal as well. He drove to the back, right forward, and he took a shot on, which was good. It was good to see him being brave and wanting to hit a shot. So it's something that we've not really seen for our left back for a long time. So keep it coming, Ridvan. Just keep it coming, son.
What?
I'm going to get to Ridvan myself next year. I think we've seen enough of him, and going both ways. I liked his attack and his link-up play. That's only going to develop further over time. Like guys touched on as well, the shot had edge of the box, wasn't far away, so great technique again, come across the ball, try to put it bottom corner. But also actually going the other way, Oxford, he never get beat. He never get beat once down the outside of him. And then even when his duels in there, he only didn't have many, but the duels that he had, he won them, mate. So I think that was a very, very steady, and like I said at the pre-show, again, he's like the language barriers probably still not there Oxford either, and he's developed into a new culture, a new country. So I think the young boy done very well tonight. Aye, I'm going to get a bit of Ridvan.
All right, I'm going to sit in the fence here and say Warren and your good self and Porter, right? I think that's fair comment. The two fullbacks were the standout, but I also like Charlie McCann's cameo, if I'm being honest. I think he done very well in that 15 minutes, mate.
Aye, it's all about taking your chances, Oxford. You'll not go far wrong with an assist with a back heel like that, mate. But he's done very well. You can just tell, looking at a player, his movement, his touch, the way he gets across the pitch. It makes the game look easy, mate, and that's what's exciting for me with McCann.
So watching Fox do a waltz on Saturday night, mate, you've either got it or you've not, so graceful and just like glides, Who
stood it for yourself, Oxford? Who do you think yourself?
I thought Ridvan just Warren. I think that touch that he had was maybe worth the admission money alone, if I'm being honest.
It was great to see. It was absolutely great to see. I mean, we're willing the boy to do well. And when he done it, I thought, in the name of crikey, that was fantastic. Looks good. That was good. Aye.
The GB, let's let him grow in. We might not see him for a while. We might start getting cameos or whatever, but we just have to get it right with him. Get him up to speed, get him stronger, get him faster, fitter. Isn't that how we play?
Yeah, he had the welcome to kind of Scottish football the night as well, with the challenge on him, the smash in the face as well. I seen he had a face of shock on him when he was getting up for that challenge. So that'll probably do him no end as well. We're realising that he's got to be in that kind of physical league, Ox. But no, mere minutes, and hopefully that's us for the next round. So whoever we draw, maybe there's another chance for him to get another good solid 90 minutes under his belt. What about his pass? Do you remember his pass in the first half? Do you think that was a pass, or was that a miss to out wide to the right? I don't think McCoy was having it as a pass, but if it was a pass,
I don't think that was a pass. No,
it was world class anyway.
If he meant that, mate, it'd be £20 million, Porter.
Indeed, mate, indeed. It's just touching on me. We need to get this right. And now I understand maybe why Bonner's raised his game, mate. Maybe they're seeing it in training, but they just don't feel he's 100% ready yet. And if he's pushing Bonner and it's improving Bonner, as I say, Doc, it excites me that the fact that M2 are going to fight out for that position, so it's all going to benefit Rangers.
Listen, we'll get an interview. Obviously, the young boy Robbie, he's there, and we want to hear what he's got to say, because he scored in his first, I think it's his first start at Ibrox. Let's hear, Phil. Well, almost quite.
Scott, we'll start with you. Is that a case of it's a cup game, get through, job done, you happy?
That's exactly what it was. I think first half, maybe majority of the first half we were good. Performance levels was there. Second half we were poor. I think we let the game kind of slow down. It suited them. We always felt as if we were going to go on and win it, but we wanted to entertain the fans. We did that for the majority of the first half, but majority of the second half wasn't good enough. Managed to get the third goal and kind of kill the game, but it should have been better in the second half.
A couple of calm finishes must be nice to add to the tally as well.
Absolutely. Don't care how they come. Ask the big man, he's a striker, he's desperate to get goals. Ask anybody, as long as you can score them, no matter how they go, you're always happy with them.
Well, Robbie, congratulations. We've got Ali McCoist in the studio, and he's saying Robbie must have gone to bed last night and thought, if I can grab myself a goal tonight, maybe even in the first 10 minutes. Is that almost the dream come true tonight?
The dream come true, as you said. Obviously been here for 7 years or something, and then to walk out at Ibrox and then get a goal within the first 10 minutes is obviously what you dream of.
What was that feeling like walking out? Are you nervous? Are you excited?
I'd say I was just excited to play. I back myself, and I know I've got stuff that I need to improve on, but I back myself, and obviously it helps that you've got experienced players playing behind you. That makes the game easier for you.
Yeah, Scott, how impressed were you with the way he led the line tonight?
No, very. No, but I'm joking. Man was superb. It's hard to do. It's hard to do at any age. Never mind the age he's at. He's been training with us for a couple of weeks. We can see his quality. Bit of luck with the finish, but he dealt with it. He done great. He was up against two experienced centre half there tonight. And again, magic, and not just himself, his teammates that he's in the B team with, coming on, getting their debuts. I think it was 4 or 5 debuts there. So it's brilliant for the club, brilliant for them, and hopefully we can push on now.
Is there a real determination to get your hands on this trophy? It's the one that's kind of eluded the club so far. Definitely,
there's always expectation at this football club, and there's always a pursuit of success. And this cup's no different. This is the first one you can win within the calendar year, and we had a bad result against Hibs last season. We want to put that right. We want to get there. We want to get hands in every trophy we're in.
These last few results set you up nicely for Saturday. Rather big game.
Big one, as always. It's the next one, so it's always the biggest. When you play for a club this size, expectations on us. As I've always said, the club's built success. When you put the badge on, when you carry the badge, you need to deliver it. So the game's no different. Obviously, the magnitude of the game speaks for itself, but it's only 3 points up for grabs. And like any game we go into, we feel as if we can win them.
Scott, Robbie, well done.
Thank you, big man. Thank you. Well done, son.
Very honest as always, Scotty Arfield. Fair play to the young man getting a goal in his first team debut, and I think Scotty says it right, but the amount of debuts playing the night, Warren, we've got to put it in context. You're right, it wasn't the greatest to watch, he's particularly in the second half, mate, but there's a lot of inexperience out there.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Joe, he went to experiment, and he would have learned a lot about who's in and who's not. So it was good in that respect. It was good. What I would say to you, Ox, is, can you remember the last time Rangers were facing a big game, right? And see the game before it, we got a result which would not deflate us, but we were not happy with. And then we went on to win the big game. Can you tell me the last time that happened?
Would that be the semi-final against Leipzig?
No, that would be see Hibs at Easter Road. We were a wee bit deflated. And we're only beat Eindhoven. Now we're going up to the Devil's Den on Saturday. I'm not happy with the result tonight.
I think you've got to put it in context. We won 3-1. We did, we were further ahead at half time. We played that many boys. We couldn't say it's for first team Port.
Aye.
And even we drew at Easter Road in difficult circumstances. Yeah, so everything's got to be put in context. Port better.
You can only play the game that's in front of you, and Hibs' game was mental, as in with people getting sent off, etc. And poor referee decisions in that. Then PSV game, we went out and we played them and we raised the game. Like you said, Warren, we were excellent over PSV. And then tonight, the team selection right away makes the team disjointed, because this team are not used to playing with each other. They've all got different attributes. It was a fair mixture of youth and experience. but some of the experienced players haven't played much football either. So I just don't think. I think it was a mixture of, inconsistency, guys not right up to speed yet, and of course a lot of boys and men that haven't played with each other yet. But the end result was still a 3-1 win, which we've got to be happy about. But I get what you're saying, Warren. It should get better, and it will get better. But I think for the young guys that we've seen tonight, I think the future's looking pretty good. The future's pretty bright, mate.
Definitely, aye, definitely. But as I still say, I think going up there on Saturday. Maybe they'll win that result tonight. The performance, and we know what we saw.
Warren, do you think that result in that game? Do you think they'll even watch that and consider that's how we're going to play? They'll not be that.
Oh no, not at all, no. But you know what they're like, No, obviously not. No. But I think the way Rangers are, and this is the way we tend to go. We play wee games like that and we struggle. They'll go out and beat Ross County about 20-0 tomorrow. But if we go up to Parkhead, I actually think they're in for a shock. They're in for a shock, because they've been turning teams over, and Rangers will turn up. But the wee experiment tonight, and in my eyes, Gio would have saw a couple of things, and it just adds to where we're going and where we're at. The first team, as I say, we've had a couple of hard games already, and we've cricket at the end of August, and we've stood up to the test. We've come through 2 of them. They've been swanning about with Kilmarnock and Dundee and Easy or whoever it is they're playing, and then I think they're in for a shock on Saturday.
I think it was good management with Giovanni Bancost tonight, GB. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
He looked at the opposition, said you should have enough, and done it, and ultimately got it right because we won 3-1.
We rested our main first team near enough. You're talking Lawrence, Lundstrom, Tillman, Ken, Scott Wright was rested. If anything that Gio took away for the night is that he knows for certainty that Matondo's not got to be starting on Saturday. So, and Kamara's got more minutes under his legs for the night. So, no, it's gave Gio the chance to see where the youth sit, and it's gave the youth a chance to see where they're at the night. And we're through to the next round, and we've not got any injuries going into Saturday's game. So, to be honest, it's plus points all around for everybody.
Yeah. What?
I think it keeps young ones honest as well, Oxia, because anybody that thinks they were, any youths in their head that played tonight that think maybe they're a wee bit further ahead than they were, then that puts things into perspective, doesn't it? Because then, ultimately, like you touched on, Gio's got the decisions right. Gio does see these guys in training, and he's brought these guys into training. Like they said, Robbie, he's been training for a fortnight with them. So, he is seeing them in training on a daily basis. And this is one of the reasons they've brought in the boy Bowley to have a look at youth to progress them quicker. They mentioned that when they first got him in his interview. So he's another coach who's going to try and push these youths as much as they can to fast track them to the first team. But it just goes to show, mate, that there's still a wee bit off and there's still a wee bit to go. And that's not a bad thing, by the way. It takes time to develop players, and it's all about luck, quality, and taking your chances. And this is what you've got to do.
And they're really young, these boys. I think we forget, they're really young, QB.
Aye, Oxford, 18 and 21 roughly is about the kind of oldest. It's kind of about that team now. So, again, they were playing against proper men's football tonight. As much as the B team is the B team, it's a very low league that they're playing in. Whereas Queen of South gave us a game tonight. The challenge, the second half, they came in and made a game of it. And like I touched on, there was a bit of physicality tonight as well. So I think there's a few rough and tumbles with King tonight. So he would have learned as a defender as well. So it's all plus points, and it's good. Probably the youth will take fair tonight as well that maybe they're not getting fed broken dreams, if you know what I mean, that Gio is going to give them a chance. But they've got to grab it as well, Ox. I mean, they've got to these games that they're getting a chance in. They have got to perform, and they've done it. They've went out and gave the manager a 3-1 result tonight. Nothing much else you can really say about that.
I don't think we'll see Oram that often as the season develops. Port, I think there's some of them could make it. The boy King, even though a couple of mistakes tonight, but come on, we're picking holes here. I think he looks as if he's got something about him. And once he gets more confidence stepping into midfield with the ball, could have a player in my hands.
I seen enough of Divine to say myself that boy could have a future in the game, definitely. I seen enough of King to say, you know, bear in mind before he signed his contract with the club next year, Man United, Bayern Munich, Man City, Chelsea were all interested in King. But we got him on his contract, so obviously the club see something in him as well. I think McCann, like I said before, I've got high hopes for him. I've said it on here before as well. I've got higher hopes for him than I've got for Lowry. Even though I think Lowry's a quality player as well. But with the youth we've got and what I've seen him so far this year, I think we can be very, very happy with what we've got. But we just have to be patient. We've got a first team that's, you know, undoubted quality. These young boys are training with these guys every day, so it's all going to improve them as well. So I think we're in a good place when it comes to youth this year. And another thing I'm glad is we've given youth a pathway to getting first team football, and it's through this cup. And I think that's how we need to use that cup in future for our youth team next year and the B team players. Let's use this cup to develop players for Glasgow Rangers for the future.
When I heard King Divine mentioned, I thought I was waiting for tiny bubbles for him.
Aye. That was a good point by Port. See the young boys, what Gio had have learned tonight, they had their chance, and he would have read a lot into that. I thought that was a great point. And the boys themselves, you know, they had their chances. And for me, it was King that stood out.
I get that, he had a lot of the ball. I think there was a couple of mistakes in here when he got caught. Dylan, he got out of GB, and I think he'll improve for that.
I also he got out of it because he's got pace, and it's good to see a defender with pace. I mean, it's a good trait to have, and the same way his passing ability. I mean, even at the weekend there, he's passing to Scotty Arfield. Really, Arfield should have buried that chance that King created, and it was the same night. He had some nice passes. Like I says, he's not really been up against physical guys, and the night was a good test for him. And to be honest, he was the mainstay centre back the night. As much as Jack's an experienced player, he was kind of sitting back a lot, and it was kind of doing all the movement, driving forward, either passing it to Ridvan or putting it in the middle part for Kamara. So he done brilliant. And again, it's more time with the first team, Ox. It's only got to do him good.
It's a difficult thing, this progression we talk about all the time, Porter. It's not as easy as people think, but he'll make it through, man. Game 12 games, you get 20 million put in your hand.
No, you're never going to get, 11 or, 10, 8, even Calvin Bassey's or Nathan Patterson's next year. They come across once in a generation, these players, where they play a couple of games for your club and then move on for big money. I do think we've got they four players that I mentioned, Divine, King, McCann and Lowry. I think they're the four that are ahead of everybody else at the moment. And I can see in a couple of years them really becoming first team players for their club and potentially moving for decent money. But you have to get it right next year, because we put these guys in on a regular basis. First of all, there's pressure. I mean, can they handle the pressure? Are the situations we're in right now where we need to win every league game? We can't let any more points drop at all. And then we're in the Champions League, which again's mega levels above where these boys have played at the moment. So again, you have to get that right as well. But what Rangers have shown is, because we're competing there now, the Champions League should be where the guys are aiming for. That's where I want to play. So question yourself, how do I get to that stage? And that's doing your development. You have to train well, you have to do all right. There's great professionals at our club box here with Stephen Davis, Ryan Jack, all these guys. If these boys can pick out golden nuggets off all the experienced players at Ibrox right now, they won't go too long, but it's all about desire, mate. But their aim should be the Champions League. How do I get there? But
you need the right attitude to develop as a player for the vast majority, unless you're a genius, GB. Yeah.
Aye, and that only comes with being around the right people. Qots touched on it, Ox, the likes of Davis and stuff like that, and probably we should give a bit of praise to Arfield tonight. Even his press conference that he's played there. I mean, Arfield's got the total right attitude about it. That the next game's the biggest game. You've got to go in there with the right attitude, and it was the same the night. They went in there. He wasn't himself happy with the second half, so that shows you that we're on the right path as well when we're talking about the game tonight. He's seen what we're seeing, which is good. So great to have these kind of professionals about him, and they will keep pushing the lads, and they'll keep them grounded as well, especially the night. Arfield's obviously ribbing the boy Yuri, but he'll give him praise, but he won't overpraise him. He'll tell him that he's still got a long way to go.
Again, just like Fox, take them mean, keep them keen, Port Bert.
Aye, it seems to be a developing theme, mate, in life in general. I think that's just the attitude, to have any young player with any aspirations. You feed them at the right times, Oxshire, and you draw them back when pressure's on, or you think the game's maybe a wee bit too far for their development. Because the last thing you want to do is kill these boys with pressure. So I just think it was, and I think Gio was pretty experienced in it. He done it at Farnell by bringing players through to the youth team. So, and he's got a keen eye on developing players Oxshire. So I think the youth themselves, real manager Dave Voss and Kerry Bowley, I think they won't go far wrong, mate, with sticking with these three guys who are so keen to develop youth players, mate. And I think we're seeing that in this cup.
I've had some feedback. I wouldn't say who said it, but let's just say it comes from somewhere in the heading towards the North East England. But he says it's the Alex Kelly Cup because it's a funny shape and it's got big ears coming out of the horn. So I don't know what he's getting in there. But
no idea, mate. I don't know what he's talking about.
That's a nice trophy. I'd like to win it. I do agree with Alex. I'd like to win it. I'd like to win every competition we're in, Warren. And that's us in the quarter-final, so we're only 2 games away from our final and hopefully win it.
Oh, definitely, Ox. I can remember, I think, my first League Cup final I seen Rangers win. Do you remember this one? Who was it we played? Was it Aberdeen? Was it Colin Jackson? I think it was the 93rd minute. The old Rangers end at Hampden. It was H&J. And I was a wee boy, maybe about 15. And then Colin Jackson, 93rd minute. And you seen the ball coming in and he headed it right into the net. What a feeling that was.
I only know because I've seen the DVD, but that was the 1979 Cup final.
I know, you'd have been too young then, Ox. I was up the Rangers end that day, right up the back. And what a feeling, when seeing you around. Young boy, Rangers man. What a feeling that was. The League Cup, I've always liked the League Cup.
I think it was 1979 League Cup final. Big Derek, Doug Rugby gets sent off, equalised, and then Big Colin gets on.
Right, I was there that day, Ox. I remember that incident because you're in the Rangers end and you weren't really sure what had happened. And Christ, I don't think anybody actually knows what happened. Doug Rugby and Big DJ and Craig Malone to win that game as well.
I think that might have been the one that Colin Jackson won. That was that game. I see that in the last few minutes.
What was that? What was that? I'm thinking of Dundee United, Craig. But through a wee spate at that time, we kept winning the League Cup. Mind, Colin Jackson, that was the one I loved. Right in, it must have been 93rd minute. Absolutely brilliant. Up the Rangers end. When you were there in the Rangers end, it was fantastic. Young boy, mind all the dust went up. It was brilliant. But,
I have seen the pictures. Poor Bear.
You just a twinkle in your daddy's eye, were you?
I wish. Well, gentlemen, we've reached that time of the evening. Warren, thanks as always, mate.
Aye. It's just a wee last call. Were you actually at that game?
Maybe.
Aye. Were you a Partick boy at that game? The old League Cup final in 1979?
I'm always a Partick boy wherever I go, mate.
No Partick prodigies.
Yep. Listen, Warren, thanks for your call, mate.
Right, cheers, Ox.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Warren.
Cheers, boys.
Speak to you soon, mate. GB.
Aye, Ox, thanks for having us on the night for the show, buddy. Another good result, mate. We're through to a quarter final, so we can't grumble, mate. And it's onwards to Saturday, buddy.
Yeah, I'm sure Port tomorrow night will a wee bit on the show, then the whole thing will just go nuclear, bang, we're building up to Saturday.
Oh, exciting, mate. It all starts, the build-up starts tomorrow for you guys on the show. I think it's just going to be an incredible build-up to the rest of the week, mate. Keep an eye on the transfer window over the next 48 hours, troops, because I think there'll be some movement for Rangers.
Well, I think we know somebody that's constantly looking at that. He's not right in the heat, but he's constantly looking at
it. I think you're right, mate. But another like with transfers and Sky Sports, I think he is, mate.
Remember all Daniel Doyle? He used to put the yellow suit on the last day, the Jim White suit.
No, not with that, mate. There's nothing up with that. No, mate, thanks very much for having us on. And remember, we're only starting the season. This is early in the season, and these young boys have already played in their cup competition. And we've got a big game coming up on Saturday. So, cheers for having us on, Oxshire, as always. Thanks very much.
No, not at all. It was a yellow tie, yellow tie.
Yeah.
GB.
I know, it's going to be exciting. It's like it's a wee touch for the match tomorrow night, and then like you says that the phone calls will be red hot, wanting to know what their team selection is going to be on Saturday, buddy.
Yeah. Listen, thanks to you two, thanks to Warren for joining us, thanks to the Rangers getting us a result. It wasn't a great performance, but a lot of boys have learned a lot of things tonight. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10 talking about all things Rangers. Take it away, Old School Blue.
They come from all of Glasgow, they come from near and far. They come from every Highland glen, from here to Lochnacar. They sail from near old Belfast to the bonny banks of Clyde. They gather round to Timeless Park and loudly sing with pride. Oh yes, R-E-N-G-E-N-R-N-S. In case you didn't catch it, friend, I set your mind at rest. Oh yes, R-E-N-G-E-N-R-N-S. The boys in blue of Ibrox, aye, the Scotland's very best. Oh yes, R-E-N-G-E-N-R-N-S. In case you didn't catch it, friend, I set your mind at rest. Oh yes, R-E-N-G-E-N-R-N-S. The boys in blue of Ibrox, aye, the Scotland's very best. There's Richie Shearer, Robin, John Craig McKinnon too. There's Baxter, Highness and George McLean, they proudly wear the blue. There's Miller, Brandon, Wilson, what better could you want? Plus 70,000 Rangers fans that proudly sing this chant. Oh yes, R-E-N-G-E-N-R-N-S. In case you didn't catch it, friend, I set your mind at rest. Oh yes, R-E-N-G-E-N-R-N-S. The boys in blue, the Ibrox Isles, Scotland's very best. There's Richie Shearer, Robin, John Craig McKinnon too. There's Baxter, Highness and George McLean, they proudly wear the blue. There's Miller, Brandon, Wilson, what better could you want? Plus 70,000 Rangers fans that proudly sing this chant. Oh yes, R-E-N-G-E-N-R-N-S. In case you didn't catch it, friend, I set your mind at rest. Oh yes, R-E-N-G-E-N-R-N-S. The boys in blue of Ibrox, aye, the Scotland's very best.